In the world of ballet, every movement is deliberate, every step carefully placed. But off-stage, life is unpredictable, sometimes, even deadly. On a quiet evening in Florida, a single gunshot shattered the silence, leaving behind a mystery that would grip the nation. What happened behind closed doors? And how did a ballerina, trained for elegance and discipline, find herself at the center of a fatal confrontation? In the sunlit realms of ballet, Ashley Benefield's journey began with promise. Born Ashley Byers, she immersed herself in dance from the tender age of 8, dedicating countless hours to perfecting her craft. Her commitment led her to the esteemed Maryland Youth Ballet, where she honed her skills and envisioned a future gracing the world's grand stages. Yet, by 21, the spotlight dimmed as her ballet aspirations waned, prompting Ashley to explore new avenues, including teaching dance to children and designing costumes. During this period of transition, she also ventured into modeling, crafting a portfolio that, despite her efforts, did not culminate in a lasting career. In August 2016, amidst the fervor of a political campaign in Palm Beach, Florida, Ashley's path intersected with Doug Benefield. Doug, a 54-year-old widower and father, had a distinguished background as a former naval flight officer and entrepreneur. His life had been marked by dedication to service and family, having previously lost his wife, Renee, to a heart condition in December 2015. The connection between Ashley and Doug was immediate and intense. A mere 13 days after their initial meeting, they exchanged vows, embarking on a whirlwind marriage that captured attention not only for its speed but also for the 30-year age difference between them. The couple soon relocated to Charleston, South Carolina, channeling their combined passions into founding the American National Ballet, A&B. Their vision was ambitious, to create a ballet company that would break traditional molds and offer fresh opportunities within the dance community. However, the endeavor faced significant challenges and ultimately dissolved within months, leaving both their professional and personal lives under strain. Amidst these trials, Ashley became pregnant in July 2017, and by March 2018, she gave birth to their daughter, Emerson, adding another layer of complexity to their already intricate relationship. By September 2020, the Benefields had moved to Lakewood Ranch, a tranquil community in Manatee County, Florida. It was here, in the supposed serenity of their home, that a tragic event unfolded, shattering the calm and thrusting the couple into the national spotlight. The incident garnered widespread media attention, with many drawing parallels to the 2010 film Black Swan, a psychological thriller that delves into the dark descent of a ballerina consumed by ambition and delusion. This eerie resemblance led to the case being dubbed the Black Swan case, a moniker that encapsulated the shocking transformation of a celebrated dancer into a figure embroiled in a deadly narrative. In this documentary, we will navigate the intricate tapestry of Ashley and Doug Benefield's relationship, unravel the events that led to the fateful night in Lakewood Ranch, and examine the ensuing legal battles that captivated and divided public opinion. Through a meticulous exploration of public records and first-hand accounts, we aim to shed light on the complexities of love, ambition, and the unforeseen consequences that can arise when the two intertwine. Before we dive into this chilling case, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new true crime story. We uncover the most shocking and mysterious cases, stories that will leave you questioning everything. Now, let's get into today's case. In the disciplined world of ballet, Ashley Benefield's journey was marked by both promise and challenges. Her early years were dedicated to rigorous training at the Maryland Youth Ballet, where she honed her craft with aspirations of a luminous career on stage. However, an injury in her early 20s abruptly curtailed her dancing ambitions, leading her to explore other avenues within the arts, including teaching and costume design. Her striking presence also opened doors in the modeling industry, adding another facet to her artistic pursuits. In August 2016, Ashley's path crossed with Doug Benefield at a political fundraiser in Palm Beach, Florida. Doug, a 54-year-old widower and former naval flight officer, was captivated by Ashley's charm and intelligence. Their whirlwind romance led to marriage just 13 days after their initial meeting, a union that raised eyebrows due to the significant age difference and rapid progression. The couple's shared passion for the arts culminated in the founding of the American National Ballet, A&B, in Charleston, South Carolina. Their vision was ambitious, to create a ballet company that celebrated diversity and challenged traditional norms by highlighting racially diverse and physically unconventional dancers. They recruited notable talents, including Sarah Michelle Morawski, a 5'10" dancer who had previously faced challenges due to her height. Despite their noble intentions, the A&B faced significant challenges. Dancers reported mismanagement, lack of communication, and financial instability. One dancer recalled visiting the performance theater slated for their debut season, only to find no advertising or acknowledgement of the upcoming gala, a glaring red flag. Behind the scenes, the Benefield's marriage was unraveling. Tensions escalated as professional setbacks mirrored personal discord. Dancers observed Doug's angry side, noting instances where he displayed uncharacteristic frustration. In one episode, Doug reportedly raised his voice during a meeting, admonishing dancers against keeping payment records, a moment that left many unsettled. The collapse of the A&B in late 2017 marked a turning point. Ashley became pregnant, and by March 2018, she gave birth to their daughter, Emerson. However, the joys of parenthood were overshadowed by deepening marital strife. Ashley alleged that Doug exhibited controlling and abusive behavior, claims that he and his family vehemently denied. The couple's relationship became a tumultuous cycle of separations and reconciliations, with disputes over finances, custody, and personal safety. As their personal battles intensified, Ashley filed for a restraining order against Doug in May 2020, alleging domestic violence. Doug countered with claims that Ashley was fabricating stories to gain sole custody of their child. Friends and family were drawn into the conflict, each side presenting contrasting narratives of the couple's life together. On the evening of September 27, 2020, in the serene community of Lakewood Ranch, Florida, the tumultuous relationship between Ashley and Doug Benefield reached a fatal climax. The couple, amidst preparations for Ashley's impending move to Maryland, found themselves alone in Ashley's mother's residence, their young daughter, Emerson, having been taken to a nearby park by Ashley's mother, Alicia. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows through the suburban streets, an argument erupted between Ashley and Doug. Ashley would later recount that Doug struck her, a claim that would become central to her defense. In the heat of the altercation, Ashley retrieved a .45 caliber handgun and fired twice, striking Doug in the leg and chest. In the immediate aftermath, Ashley sought refuge at a neighbor's house, prompting them to call 911. Emergency responders arrived swiftly, finding Doug gravely wounded. Despite their efforts, Doug succumbed to his injuries approximately an hour later at a nearby hospital. The investigation that followed delved into the complexities of the Benefield's relationship, uncovering a tapestry of allegations, counterclaims, and a marriage fraught with discord. Ashley asserted that the shooting was an act of self-defense, painting a portrait of a woman cornered by fear. Conversely, prosecutors contended that the act was premeditated, a calculated move to gain sole custody of their daughter. This tragic incident, dubbed the Black Swan case, captivated national attention, drawing parallels to the 2010 film about a ballerina's descent into madness. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the public grappled with the enigma of Ashley Benefield, a former ballerina whose life pirouetted from the grace of the stage to the gravity of a courtroom. In the immediate aftermath of the tragic shooting of Doug Benefield, law enforcement officers arrived at the Lakewood Ranch residence, prepared to unravel the events that led to his untimely death. The scene they encountered was both telling and perplexing, setting the stage for an intricate investigation fraught with conflicting narratives and elusive truths. Upon entering the home, officers discovered Doug Benefield lying on the floor of the master bedroom, having sustained 2 gunshot wounds, one to the leg and another to the arm, with the latter bullet traveling into his chest cavity. Despite the severity of his injuries, Doug was unarmed, and no weapons were found in his immediate vicinity. The absence of defensive wounds on Ashley Benefield further complicated the scene, as she exhibited no visible signs of physical altercation. Moreover, the residence showed no evidence of a struggle, no overturned furniture, no broken items, and no disarray that would typically suggest a violent confrontation. These observations cast initial doubts on Ashley's claim of self-defense. Investigators noted the presence of multiple firearms within the home. In addition to the .45 caliber handgun used in the shooting, 2 other loaded guns were discovered, one in Ashley's backpack hanging in the bedroom closet and another belonging to her mother, found in a kitchen pantry. The accessibility and placement of these weapons raised questions about the household's dynamics and the events leading up to the shooting. The couple's tumultuous history added layers of complexity to the investigation. Ashley had previously filed for restraining orders against Doug, alleging domestic violence and even accusing him of poisoning her during her pregnancy. However, these claims were met with skepticism, investigations found no credible evidence to substantiate the poisoning allegations, and medical records from that period indicated normal results. Conversely, Doug had accused Ashley of fabricating stories to gain sole custody of their daughter, Emerson, painting a picture of a deeply fractured relationship marked by mutual distrust and legal battles. Forensic analysis introduced further contradictions. The trajectory of the fatal gunshot, which entered the right side of Doug's chest, seemed inconsistent with Ashley's account of a frontal assault. Additionally, the lack of stippling, tiny abrasions caused by gunpowder particles, on Doug's clothing suggested that the shots were fired from a distance of at least 3 to 7 feet, challenging the narrative of an immediate threat. Compounding these complexities were the testimonies from individuals connected to the couple. Some former associates of Doug described witnessing his angry side, recounting instances of raised voices and controlling behavior. Others, however, portrayed Ashley as manipulative, highlighting her swift actions to limit Doug's access to their daughter and her alleged attempts to control the narrative surrounding their relationship. As investigators delved deeper, they grappled with a web of he-said, she-said assertions, each thread leading to more questions than answers. The lack of concrete physical evidence supporting Ashley's claims of prior abuse, coupled with the absence of defensive injuries and the forensic inconsistencies, posed significant challenges. Yet, the testimonies hinting at Doug's potential for aggression prevented a clear-cut dismissal of Ashley's self-defense argument. In this intricate dance of narratives, evidence, and legal maneuverings, the line between victim and perpetrator blurred, leaving investigators, and later, the courts, to untangle a story where truth seemed as elusive as shadows on a dimly lit stage. In the summer of 2024, the Manatee County Judicial Center became the stage for a trial that captivated the nation, the case of Ashley Benefield, a former ballerina accused of fatally shooting her husband, Doug Benefield. Dubbed the Black Swan trial, it promised a narrative replete with passion, betrayal, and a quest for justice. The prosecution, led by Assistant State Attorney Suzanne O'Donnell, painted a portrait of Ashley as a calculating woman determined to sever Doug from their daughter's life. They argued that Ashley's allegations of abuse were fabrications, strategically employed to gain sole custody. O'Donnell emphasized that Ashley's actions were not those of a battered spouse seeking help but of someone orchestrating a plan to eliminate Doug. The prosecution underscored the absence of physical evidence supporting Ashley's claims of prior abuse, highlighting the lack of defensive wounds and the orderly state of the crime scene. They contended that Ashley's narrative was a ruse designed to manipulate perceptions and achieve her ultimate goal, sole custody of their child. In a dramatic turn, Ashley took the stand in her own defense, her testimony laden with emotion. She recounted a marriage marred by control and fear, alleging that Doug's behavior had become increasingly volatile. Ashley described the events of September 27, 2020, asserting that Doug had become aggressive, body-checking her and shoving a box into her side. She claimed that, fearing for her life, she retrieved a firearm and shot Doug in self-defense. Her defense team argued that Ashley suffered from battered woman syndrome, a psychological condition resulting from sustained intimate partner abuse. The courtroom was rife with tension as both sides presented their narratives. The prosecution challenged Ashley's credibility, suggesting that her emotional display was a calculated performance. They pointed to inconsistencies in her accounts and the lack of corroborative evidence supporting her claims of abuse. Conversely, the defense highlighted testimonies from individuals who had witnessed Doug's angry side, suggesting that his public demeanor masked a more sinister private persona. After 6 days of testimony and 7 hours of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict on July 30, 2024. Ashley Benefield was found guilty of manslaughter with a firearm, a lesser charge than the original second-degree murder accusation. The verdict reflected the jury's belief that, while Ashley was responsible for Doug's death, the act lacked the premeditation required for a murder conviction. The sentencing phase in December 2024 was equally charged. The prosecution sought the maximum penalty, arguing that Ashley's actions were deliberate and calculated. The defense pleaded for leniency, emphasizing Ashley's alleged experiences of abuse and the psychological toll it had taken. The judge, weighing the arguments, sentenced Ashley Benefield to 20 years in prison, followed by 10 years of probation. The sentence aimed to balance accountability with the complexities presented during the trial. The aftermath of the trial left lingering questions and a community divided. Some viewed Ashley as a victim who had been failed by the system, driven to a desperate act by years of abuse. Others saw her as a manipulator who exploited societal sympathies to orchestrate a heinous crime. The Black Swan case served as a poignant reminder of the intricate dynamics of domestic relationships and the challenges inherent in discerning truth within the confines of a courtroom. The tragic case of Ashley Benefield, a former ballerina convicted of manslaughter in the death of her husband, Doug Benefield, has ignited profound discussions on domestic violence, self-defense claims, and the intricate challenges inherent in proving abuse allegations. This case serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities that victims and the justice system face when navigating the murky waters of intimate partner violence. Domestic violence cases are notoriously complex, often shrouded in a veil of secrecy and fear. Victims may endure prolonged periods of abuse without external evidence, making it exceedingly difficult to substantiate claims when they choose to come forward. In situations where victims resort to self-defense, the burden of proof becomes even more daunting. They must demonstrate that their perception of imminent danger was reasonable and that their response was proportionate to the threat faced. The absence of physical evidence, such as injuries or documented incidents, further complicates the validation of self-defense claims. Legal experts emphasize that while self-defense is a legitimate right, its justification in domestic settings requires meticulous examination of the circumstances surrounding each incident. The media's portrayal of Ashley Benefield as the Black Swan drew direct parallels to the 2010 psychological thriller, wherein a ballerina's descent into madness culminates in violence. This characterization arguably influenced public perception, casting Ashley in a light that suggested a predetermined narrative of instability and aggression. Such sensationalist labeling can overshadow the nuanced realities of domestic disputes, leading the public to form opinions based on dramatized comparisons rather than factual evidence. The media's role in shaping narratives is profound, and in cases like Ashley's, it underscores the necessity for responsible reporting that prioritizes objectivity over sensationalism. Despite the trial's conclusion, several questions remain unanswered. The true nature of Ashley and Doug's relationship continues to be a subject of speculation. Was Ashley a victim driven to a desperate act of self-preservation, or was she the aggressor seeking to manipulate circumstances to her advantage? The jury's decision to convict Ashley of manslaughter, a lesser charge than second-degree murder, reflects the ambiguity and complexity of the evidence presented. This verdict suggests that while the jury found her actions unjustifiable as self-defense, they also recognized mitigating factors that precluded a more severe conviction. The case highlights the delicate balance the justice system must maintain in assessing individual culpability amidst intricate personal histories. The Benefield case underscores the critical need for a deeper understanding of domestic violence dynamics within the legal framework. It calls for enhanced training for law enforcement and judicial personnel to recognize the subtleties of abuse, even in the absence of overt physical evidence. Moreover, it emphasizes the importance of providing comprehensive support systems for victims, ensuring they have the resources and confidence to seek help before situations escalate to irreversible outcomes. Society must also reflect on how media narratives can influence justice, advocating for reporting that respects the complexity of human relationships and refrains from reductive stereotypes. In conclusion, the Black Swan case serves as a somber reminder of the multifaceted challenges inherent in addressing domestic violence and adjudicating self-defense claims. It beckons a collective introspection on how we, as a society, support victims, interpret justice, and consume media portrayals of real-life tragedies. The case of Ashley Benefield and Doug Benefield is one that will linger in the minds of many, a relationship that began with a whirlwind romance and ended in a courtroom, with one life lost and another forever changed. Ashley, once a poised and graceful ballerina, now serves a 20-year sentence, while Doug's family and friends mourn a man they say was devoted to his daughter and determined to build a future. But was this a case of self-defense born out of fear or a calculated act driven by a custody battle? The jury's decision to convict Ashley of manslaughter rather than murder speaks to the complexity of the case, leaving behind lingering questions and strong opinions on both sides. What do you think? Was justice served, or does this case reveal deeper flaws in how we handle domestic violence and self-defense claims? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep dives into true crime cases like this one, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Next time, we'll explore another case filled with unexpected twists, shocking revelations, and a search for the truth. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.